Hi everyone, Karen here today with you with a project for Scrap FX Australia. I'm a little bit excited about this one. We've got some new products this month. I haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do, but I've got so many things I want to use, so I'm probably going to have to tone my excitement down a little bit. But what I've decided to do is do up a page, or effectively a piece, a project, I guess, to put in a frame. So you see the frame here. I have just started moving all my scrap area into the garage, which I know sounds strange, but the garage is actually air conditioned because it was an ex-display home. So I've even got tiles on the floor. So I've been moving stuff into the garage and setting up my scrap space, and I want to start making some stuff, I guess, to make it make a little bit pretty amongst my shelves. So what I've got to use today is, oh my gosh, so many things. I have to show you this first. Oh my God, look at that. Oh my goodness. Dahlia Dots by Michelle Logan. Oh, Michelle, you've just outdone yourself. I love this page. This is just fantastic. And that's what I'm going to basically use, this section of this page, this for this project, because I also got this chipboard light bulb. So I'm thinking I'm going to do something like that in the middle of the page, do some mixed media backgrounds, make some flowers. We've got these fantastic mark making stamps which came out this month as well. The crosses, the circles, and the lines. Look at those. I mean, I don't have to, no one knows how bad I am at doodling because I'm going to be able to use these. I've also pulled out some stencils. This was released a couple of months ago. I'm not sure if you can see that properly there. So it's more seaweed stencil. So I'm thinking I'm going to use that and maybe put that in the background. Although I've also pulled this stencil out of my stash as well. I can't remember the name of it, but I will put it in the blog post. So effectively what I'm going to do tonight while I'm pulling all this together is, and this leaf, I've been eyeing off this leaf stamp for months, so I got that one as well this month. So I have effectively cut a piece of chipboard, which is what my Scrap FX comes with every month because I always get rice paper and this holds it nice and steady. And I've sort of got a bit of a template here of where I want it to fit within the photo frame. So I've cut that out and I've left a little bit of space just around the chipboard just so I can play a little bit, that it'll fit straight into there. So I am going to start off with prepping this with some gesso, and then I will end up putting you on fast forward and you can see me put things together. So yeah, I've pulled out my Shimmers paints, I've got Distress Oxides, I have stamps, I have ink, I have so many things. I really need to calm down and get myself together. All right, I'll put you on fast forward.
Okay, I'm back. So while I was off camera, I did gesso my chipboard like I said I was going to do, and I also grabbed out my scraps of rice paper that I have, which are all Scrap FX rice papers, and they will be listed on the blog. Just to give a little bit of texture to the background, coated it with some acrylic paint, cheap white acrylic paint from Spotlight, and then added just a little bit of acrylic paint in a couple of different blue and a turquoise colour. Then added some modelling paste over the leafy seaweed stencil. I love this stencil. It's the first time I'm using this one. The modelling paste glides beautifully over the palette knife, with the palette knife over the stencil. And you'll see there it gave a little bit of a colour as well, because some of the paint actually wasn't dry, and I'll tell you about the reason why it wasn't dry in a moment. So next, while that was drying, I pulled out the Dahlia Dots page and decided that the small circles within her hair really needed some colour, because I was only going to use that component of the face to sit within the chipboard light bulb that I was talking about earlier. So I pulled out my Dina Wakley sticks. I don't actually know what they're called. I should have grabbed them before I popped on. And then added some water and turned them into watercolour. The biggest trick for these ones though is you have to press really hard to get that colour. So I coloured in the dots and left that to dry. Once that was all dry, I then added and started using some of the mark making stamps in the circle, open circle one. Now, I only put a few at this stage just to get a feel for how they were going to look across the page. I do add a few more later on though. So, said I was going to talk about the story about why things weren't dry. Well, they weren't dry because a couple of weeks ago, I knocked over my Dina Wakley white gloss spray all over my desk. It was basically almost a full bottle. And at the time, I knew it went near my heat gun because I remember wiping the heat gun down. But what I didn't realise, where it actually landed on the heat gun was the on-off switch. And the on-off switch no longer works because it has been caked in acrylic paint. And I cannot for the life of me get that to work and get that to fix. So not only did I lose an entire bottle of Dina Wakley gloss spray, I also completely destroyed my heat gun. So this layout actually took a few days to do. So I haven't filmed everything because every time something was dry, I would add some more spray or add some more colour. So you'll see here at the bottom of where it's completed a little bit more now, you'll see that it wasn't just some blue that I've added. I added some pink, which gave me some purple tinges around the layout as well. And off camera, I also did do the rest of the light bulb. I backed the light bulb with that dahlia face and watercoloured through the face and made the hair a little bit black as well. I also then added some doodling lines with black pen and gold pen as well throughout her hair and down the sides of her face. I've never really done this sort of thing before, so I really loved doing this. Once I pulled that together, I actually grabbed out some muslin I wanted to give a little bit of texture to the page as well. And I inked that with just some Distress Oxides and let that dry. And I decided I thought that would look like a pretty cool scarf around the bottom of that bulb. So once I'd placed that all on the page, I realised I really wanted a little bit more texture and I wanted to add a little bit more black ins considering I had quite a bit of black with that bulb. So I used the flower rice paper as well, flower scenes, just fussy cut around those and randomly glued those around the page. Then I started embellishing. I grabbed out the seed stem. I had fussy cut out the circles from the dahlia page as well and put those around the page. That butterfly, actually there's two butterflies on there right now. They actually don't end up making it to the final product. But I did sit them there for a little while and you'll see that I just glued that butterfly, but I do end up taking it off. It felt a little bit too much of a cluster there. So just gluing everything down, I'm almost getting to the point where I think I'm pretty happy with the results, but I still want to give some texture. So what I start to do is I doodle around the circles from the cut aparts, and then I also doodle around where we've stamped, and I add more of the mark making stamps as well around the page. So with the mark making stamps, I then doodle in a white paint pen around there. And I have to say that was a little bit difficult because I had so much texture already on that page. The white pen didn't like that very much, so I did actually So here's the finished layout. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love how this turned out. I'll have information around the Scrap FX blog within the description box below. Thank you again for joining me. I would love it if you hit like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.